بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So today, inshallah, I think I'm going to spend some time talking a little bit more about the maybe angels of contention versus angels that we know about and angels that are very clear. And you might be thinking, like, how's that possible? You know, isn't it pretty clear who's an angel and who's not an angel? I had alluded to this in one of the previous discussions, in one of the previous talks, but what I do want to talk about today is there is an ayah that I think would be interesting to discuss. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَقَالَتَ الْيَهُودُ عُزَيْرٌ ibn Allah. So in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the Jews claim that Uzair is the son of Allah. Can we turn the volume down a little bit? I'm getting some reverb. So do we know the Jews to say that Uzair is Allah's son today? Like, what are the major beliefs of the Jews?
That they're the chosen ones?
That they're the chosen ones, for sure. So they believe they're the chosen ones. Who's their prophet? Musa alayhi salam. What do they believe about Isa alayhi salam? That not only do they believe he's not a prophet, in the Talmud they say he's like boiling an excrement with his mother, Maryam.
That's nice.
Yeah, so when they say stuff like Judeo-Christian values, I'm like, really? is that a thing? Like, yeah, like if anything, it's like, okay, like at least we honor and revere and respect Isa alayhi salam. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, was there a time where they were the chosen people?
Yeah.
Yes, Allah acknowledged.
Right? Allah says that, and Allah states that. And then what happened?
They became cocky.
All right, yeah, for sure. They started acting entitled. They started acting arrogant. And every time they disagreed with a message of a prophet that was sent to them, what would they do? They used to kill him, right? They're like, yeah, we don't really like what you're saying. Like, we'll wait for maybe we'll like the next one better. Like, look, like the sense of entitlement. Like, seriously, it's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, we're not really feeling this guy. Like, you know, let's kill him, and the next prophet will come. And it's very arrogant. You know, even when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about giving them and granting them, yani manna wa salwa, like food would come prepared for them. They'd be followed by this crowd, and they're like, yo, can we get some lentils and onions? And like, it's like, wait, what? But this is very telling for us that when you talk about the upbringing of a nation, you'll find with Bani Israel, after they're dealing with Fir'aun, did they deal with any external hardships? Or were things like very much facilitated for them?
Is it yes because isn't it like the Romans like persecuted them or something, or what do you mean?
So I will say that's until Isa alayhi salam. So from the time gap until Musa to Isa alayhi salam, you'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions many times that the virtues and the blessings that He had granted to Bani Israel, right? And you'll find that, okay, well, Allah actually facilitated a lot of things for them. You know, the biggest persecution and the biggest difficulty that they faced was under Fir'aun, right? It's like they used to kill their sons, they used to, you know, enslave their women, right? They used to take advantage of them, they used to do all of these things. And then Musa alayhi salam, he came back, he's like, okay, we need to escape. So then he escaped. And he took them, split the Red Sea, he crossed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised them land, He promised all these things. And then time and again, they were very ungrateful. And even when there came a time to challenge Fir'aun, who went? Musa and Harun. Like, Bani Israel wasn't like, yo, don't worry, bro, we got your back. Like, we're gonna go with you.
Very different.
Right?
Companions, how they used to support prophets.
So, and I think this is really important. It's that, okay, when you look at the people who surrounded the messenger and people who surrounded the prophets, you'll find that the attitude of Bani Israel with Musa was very what?
Isolated?
Not isolated. It's very entitled. Like, what else are you going to do for us? right? Like, you just kind of get that time and again. Like, oh, what are you going to do? And the minute Musa leaves, what do? They start worshiping a cow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, bro, I can't catch a break with you guys. And constantly questioning him, constantly challenging him, constantly pushing him. Like, and when it came to the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how did that look?
So different.
It was very different. How was it?
Respectful. They
Mhm.
cared what he was preaching about. They, like, I feel like they really had a lot of effort to try to replicate his teaching.
Mhm.
They supported him, whatever he did. Like, they pledged to stand by his side.
So they were the opposite of entitled.
Yeah.
They're always very what?
Loyal.
They're always very loyal, very thankful,
Yeah.
right? When they dealt with him, and always grateful with him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's something that's really important for us to keep in mind when we kind of think of the different dynamics. And I believe a part of that is, how was the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the life of his companions? It was hard. It was like really, really hard. It was really challenging. It was really difficult. Like they couldn't catch a break. Like literally, it was just like one thing after another, after another, after another. Like getting killed, fighting, going into war, going into battle. Like it just didn't stop. And even after the Prophet ﷺ passed away, immediately what happened? Like you had the apostasy wars, right? And then you had people plotting and killing. Out of the, I would say, out of the four major khulafa, 3 of them were assassinated, right? Right? Even Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, like he died a natural death, but he was a little bit older too. The other 3 were assassinated. You can even argue Hassan, who took the last 6 months, even he was like, there you have a number of narrations that said that he was poisoned. Right? So you have people like in those positions killed time. It's like they had to face a lot of difficulty, a lot of hardship. And what does that tell us? And what does that remind us? That it is only through hardship, it is only through difficulty, it is only through adversity that a person can actually grow. And if you give people a life where things are easy for them and they're constantly spoon-fed, they only end up becoming what? Arrogant, ungrateful, entitled. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. So going back to this idea, it's like, all right, well, we don't, according to like the general like Judaic beliefs, there's no mention of Uzair, right? And the Uzair that we know, the only thing we know about him is like we have a few narrations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like he gives like a mention of him very generally in the Quran, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rafa'uhu, and he brought him up. And it said that his, that's Idris, alayhi salam. But you just have like these very loose mentions of Uzair. So the question is like, okay, well, who can this Uzair be? You guys ever heard of Metatron?
Megatron?
Megatron is close.
Okay.
This is not the Transformer. What do you guys get a chance to look it up in Wikipedia when you get home? But Metatron.
How do you pronounce it again?
Metatron.
Metatron.
Yeah, not Megatron. So change the G to a T.
Okay.
This is said to be an angel that was a scribe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what the Jews believed about this angel is that this angel, they said, how can there be an angel that sits in front of Allah? Because for an angel to sit, this is a sign of disrespect, especially if an angel's in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they say the fact that he's sitting, this being must be one that rivals Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It must be a deity that rivals him, Azza wa Jal. And you have mention of him in some of our scripture, like you don't have like a very clear thing, like a clear image of who this angel is and who this being is. But some of them say that he is one of the protectors of the Arsh. Some of them say that he is the one, you guys know the hijab, that Jibreel alayhi salam, he said, I can't pass this. They say about him that he is the one who was actually the caretaker of this hijab. So when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he passed it, that it was Metatron, the one who was in charge of that and who take care of that veil. And you have different sayings and different statements about him. But if you're like, okay, if there is like this other being or there's this other deity that exists, that is lesser, would that not be very similar to calling someone a son? And I believe, and Allah knows best, right, that it's very possible that this figure who's mentioned in like the Talmud, he's mentioned in like very cryptic Jewish scripture. And this is an angel, this was his role, this is who he was. And they even have this idea of like a dual being that existed. It's really weird. It's like really, really weird. And when you look at it that way, you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense. That you would have Jews that claim this. It might not be part of their open discussion. It might not be part of their open claims, but it is something that is definitely part of their scripture. It's not something that you'll find in like in the, what do you call it? In the Torah, right? But it is something that you'll find an allusion to in the Talmud. And it's very interesting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually brings this out and brings this forward. Another explanation that some of the scholars use, Ibn Hazm very famously, he said that this was the sect of Judaism that went extinct. But the problem is like we actually don't have any historical evidence for there to be any truth to that statement. So that was the first controversial figure that I kind of wanted to bring up, and I wanted to talk about. And like I said, there is an element of acknowledgement within Sunni circles that there's an angel that has status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And at the end of the day, if we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a specific or particular angel that is described, does that change anything in our faith or our belief? No, right? It's like, yeah, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has different angels that do different things. Is it possible that he has an angel dedicated to that he doesn't mention to us? Yeah, it's definitely possible. Even when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in general talks about the angel of death, we don't have a lot of details about him. You have some, I would say probably closer like Israeliyat, and some narrations from Al-Kitab that say his name is Israfil, but I mean Israel, but we don't really have anything concrete or anything clear concerning that. Yes.
Is he the scribe then for the Quran?
So that, wallahu alam, because there's not enough information, right? It's all conjecture at the end of the day. Is it possible that there's an angel that was specifically designated to pen everything that is nadlaw? Mumkin, right? Like it's possible. Is there any definitive way of knowing that? No. Right, so because it's something so abstract, and it's something honestly because it's ghaibi, wallahu alam. Like we just don't know. It's something that inshallah, we get into paradise, we can ask and be like, yo, it's like, hey, is there really like a Metatron? Like, like we remember these questions. So subhanallah, there's a narration of a farmer who comes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's like, Ya Rasulullah, will I be able to farm in Jannah? Why? Because he loved farming so much, right? Like this was like his passion, this was his life, like he loved farming, and he's like, Ya Rasulullah, can I farm in Jannah? He's like, absolutely. He said, but the farming is going to be different. And he was like, how? He said, when you plow your field and you plant your seeds, he said your crops will grow immediately after the space in the place that you plant. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's going to be that much better, right? Like, you're going to be able to farm, but it's going to be like amazing. Like, all right, what if you enjoy reading? Right? What if you enjoy researching? Huh? What if you enjoy like murder mysteries, right? Like you'll get to solve all the murder mysteries that ever happened. So I'm saying, just if there's something that we enjoy in this world, I'm sure that love will translate into the next, for sure, right? If there are certain foods that we enjoy, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give us exposure to those foods in the next world. And if there are foods that I'm not familiar with, does it make sense that, those are the things I'm going to want in the next world? Not really, right? If I don't like Chinese food here, like I hope not to be presented with Chinese food like in the next world. So the other group of angels that I wanted to talk about, and there's a lot of talk around them, is that وَمَا أَنزَلَ عَلَى الْمَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِ الْحَارُوتِ وَمَارُوتِ, and what was revealed to the two angels in Babylon, Harut and Marut. Over here, some scholars say like it's not possible that these individuals are angels, even though the verse seems relatively clear. It says malikain. But they're like, okay, well, malak here just means people who have control and who have a grasp on the knowledge of magic, more so than them being actual angels. So what are some arguments here? Why do you think this is even a point of discussion? Yeah.
They're kind of teaching them forbidden knowledge, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Something that's like looked down upon.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they told the people of Babylon, like, this is a test of Allah,
Yeah.
but maybe that's why it's
إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ فِتْنَةٌ فَلَا تَكْفُرْ.
Yeah.
That we're a fitna, so don't fall into disbelief.
Yeah.
So the argument is like, well, how can you have angels teaching disbelief?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Yes?
Is that similar to, like, the Quran? Like, the Quran, 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 like, the how he was talking about black magic.
Mhm.
And so, our narration is talking about how the angel was teaching. I don't
So
know.
this is the verse that a lot of people use.
Okay.
They said that there are these two angels, they came and they taught people magic.
Right.
And they said to them, إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ فِتْنَةٌ. Like, we're nothing more than a test. فَلَا تَكْفُرْ. And don't fall into the test.
Right.
Mhm.
Isn't magic usually taught by the jinn rather than
Okay.
by
This is another thing. How does magic work? You guys know? Like, what's the mechanism?
it's illusion?
I'm trying to test you. See, it's like we got any ops here?
It's potion, it's illusion, it's
So I think that's like a very, I would say like a very romanticized version of magic, like Harry Potter. You know? Have any of you ever experienced or had to deal with somebody who's done magic or like adjacent to it? Yeah.
the rabbit out of the hat.
Always the Desis, dude.
I
Yeah.
just want to say, bro.
I was gonna say, yo, this is like if we have like Desis and Moroccans, like we'll be able to root it all out.
It's like an ill intent that you have towards someone, and then
Sure.
you like follow through with it
Mhm.
by doing like some weird.
Yeah. So
Like-
people actually do a lot of kufri things.
Yeah.
When it comes to this. I had a young woman, she sent me, she was like, hey, I found this Quran in my room. And I was like, okay, you know, what's the big deal? She was like, I didn't put it here. And she was like, there are dots on the top of each page. Like at the top of the page, there was like one dot, like a singular dot. And she was like, I'm pretty sure this is najasa. This is what you have to do.
It must be bad.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like that. This is what you have to do. Like you have to like deface the Quran, right? Like this to this level. This is what you have to do in order to engage. Like I'm just saying for the person who has the ill intent, how much spite must a person have towards someone else in order to engage in something at that level, right? Like it's really really bad. Sometimes they'll take like the skin of animals, right? Like I don't know if you guys have seen that or you're familiar with that. Sometimes people even like enlist and use certain different types of drugs, right? You know, to kind of cause hallucinations. There are people who will they'll use like voodoo dolls, right? And they'll like put their hands on like you know, I mean, and they'll take like something personal or private from the person, and then they'll tie that to the doll, and then they'll do these type of things. Usually, the purpose behind all of these, the motivation is usually some twisted or warped type of love. You know, that this person is seeking, or they're trying to break a relationship. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this very clearly. مَا يُفَرَّقْ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ. Like, that their goal is to separate between a husband and a wife. So it's very much relationship-centric that you'll find a lot of these different types of magic being practiced. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that.
Is it similar to like black magic?
Like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Black magic isn't like, you know, magic wand and be like, poof, you're a frog. Like that's, I think it's a very, I think that's like, you know, entertainment kind of does that. And I would say magic is very different from illusion, right? These are two separate things. So illusion, like card tricks, like making something disappear or like, you know, pulling a quarter out of your ear. You know what I mean? Like this is all illusion. It's not actual magic.
Wait, what does the Quran say, or like just hadith about like black magic, and like why does Allah let it happen, but like how do you like isn't there like a sense of protection that you're supposed to have?
Sure.
Like that's something like that wouldn't happen to you.
Yeah, so I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes us aware of it because it's important to have that awareness, right? Hey, listen, this world it's a bad place, right? Bad things can happen in this world, and you need to be aware that this is one of the things that could potentially happen. All right, so what do I do to protect myself?
Goals.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, Ma'awwidhatayn, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. You protect yourself with different surahs from the Quran, with different chapters of the Quran. Specifically, the last two chapters of the Quran, these are known as Ma'awwidhatayn. Ma'awwidhatayn, what does that mean? Is that something that I seek refuge in, right? So I use these chapters and I use these verses to seek refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in those surahs, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about? Right, He talks about hasad. He talks about the unseen. He talks about, you know, things that are outside of your reach and outside of your grasp.
And the knots,
And then He talks about knots, right? Like, knots what? What is He talking about?
things Is it
They
the?
blow in them.
Like, yeah, like witches and whatnot. What do they do? Like, they try to take people's hair and they'll tie it into knots and they'll blow into the knots, right? You know what I mean? It's a lot of kufri stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's so
the
scary,
weird
though,
things
that
that they
too.
do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things that do. And the thing is, like, people who practice these things or people who get involved, it's like they're very dark, like very, very dark people. Like, these people, like, very dark hearts, and like very dark intentions towards others. And like I said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. But Allah makes us aware of those, but He also gives us these avenues to protect ourselves, saying, essentially, He's saying, like, hey, these things exist and these things are real. But as long as you're doing these things, I should what?
Protect.
These things protect you, and you should do what? Just live your life. Right? Don't worry about these things. Like, just kind of lock in, and like, it's important to be focused. All of this is noise, right? All of this is noise. Like magic and hasad and jinn, but it's all noise. It's all noise. The problem that many times happens, like especially in Muslim communities, is if the moment I lose my job or the moment I get into a car accident, or the moment, what do I start saying? Oh, I the hasad, the ayn, the jinn, and it's like, bro, the jinn was not driving the car, bro. Like, it's not, like, it really wasn't like, it's like, oh, I've been feeling different. Okay, maybe, right? These are possibilities of these things, and I'll start asking questions like, okay, well, what does your day look like? I was like, are you making your 5 daily prayers on time? Well, no. Can you just send someone to come and like read on me? I was like, bro, there's no shortcuts. Like, there's no, what I mean? There's no like, pass go, collect $200. No, man, you have to actually make that effort. Like, if you're not taking efforts to protect yourself spiritually, you're not going to be protected. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
What's the middle ground? Because obviously as Muslims we understand that nothing can happen to you
Mhm.
unless Allah wills it. That's
100%.
the number one ground rule.
Yeah.
Whatever Allah wills is gonna happen at the end of
Mhm.
the day. Then the concept of these things existing at the same time, like how do you know when this is something that do Allah wanted to happen to you
Sure.
versus this is magic, hasad,
Sure.
what's
So,
the difference?
so I think hasad and magic and things like that, those things make an appearance like very, very suddenly. A lot of times the things that we see in our lives, it's usually like a gradual build up to something. And if I can recognize like, okay, no, there's actually been a gradual build up for me to making bad decisions or doing this or doing X, Y, Z, it happens. But it's like, okay, well, things are actually going well. I'm in a good relationship with my wife. Like, we're not doing this. And all of a sudden, my wife is like constantly angry at me. Right? At that point, it's like, okay, you know what? There's something else going on because I haven't changed. Right? Like, my attitude hasn't changed. Like, we're still going out as much as we used to, and like we're still engaging. But she does have this weird new friend. Right? Like, and you start kind of connecting the dots. And it's like, in the moment you bring up that friend, she gets like weirdly defensive. Right? No, I'm saying, why? Because it has an effect on the heart. And you find that this person, and what are the other signs? You find that this person now starts, like, it could be yourself, that you start having an aversion toward the deen. It's like you don't want to be engaged as much. Like, you don't want to pray as much. You don't want to read Quran as much. You don't want to come to the masjid as much. You don't want to engage with the community as much. And I've had people come to me and they're like, Sheikh, do you think it's hasad, blah, blah. I was like, so was it the hasad that caused you to reflect? Was it the hasad that caused you to do more adhkar? Was it the hasad that brought you to come and talk to an imam? I was like, what kind of magic is this? This is amazing, right? Like, right? Like, it's only improved your trajectory and brought you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not magic, right? I think, like I said, it's important to have those things in the periphery to understand, but usually the shift is very stark. It's not going to be like, oh, there's a gradual change in this. It's going to be all of a sudden there's an attitude shift that just kind of come out of nowhere. So I think that's usually a good sign. And also gauging that person's like, do they start having an aversion toward the deen, right? Is that becoming a problem? Is it an issue? And if it's like, okay, is it a specific issue? Maybe it's just you, right? Like, it's just how they're dealing with you. Okay, well, if the relationship's important enough for you, okay, we need to sit down with the mediator. Like, I'm not able to communicate with you. Something happened, right? Something happened. I'm not able to communicate with you for whatever reason. We need to sit down with a third party. Yes?
Is there anything that increases the likelihood of getting evil eye, if you're posting too much on social media, or when people have huge weddings?
Sure. I think oversharing can contribute to it. And so the question is like, okay, well, what does oversharing look like? Right? It can get a little subjective. I know people like who are like really serious about like their weddings and blah blah blah, and they'll be like, oh, I got married, and it'll just be a picture of like two hands with like rings on them. You know what I mean? And like that's it. Like you don't see anything else, and you know everybody, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like I respect everybody's privacy and everybody's comfort level, and then some people will be like video broadcasts, like they'll call in like Oprah and they'll be like international weddings and like and it's like, okay, go for it, dude. Like I think everybody's gonna have their own comfort level with those things. Can it potentially lead, like can oversharing lead to those things? 100%, they definitely can. But at the end of the day, like we all have our own comfort level, and I think it's I think that we shouldn't over obsess with a lot of these things, and we shouldn't be completely dismissive. Right? There has to be a good balance there. And how do I know I'm over obsessing? When it's actually having an effect on my life, right? Like if it's having an effect on my daily activities, like I'm waking up and I'm just worried about people's hasad. I'm waking up and I'm worried about jinn. I'm waking up and it's like, I'm not going to go there because someone might see me and they might see like my new outfit, or they might see that I got a new car. But it's like, okay, no. This level is actually now damaging, and now I have to work on building a better relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it becomes easier to rely on Him, and that this becomes more noise than it becomes actual waswasa. Because we all have noise, like all of us. Like, we all have bad actors, people giving bad advice, people saying bad things. Like we all have that in our lives. Okay, how do I minimize that? Because I can't let that dictate how I live my life.
I feel like I've been on the contrary where it's like I'm more thinking like, oh, it's Allah's will, so
Yeah.
I'm not thinking like
Sure.
things like hasad and these
Yeah.
things out there, but like, yeah, the importance of finding a balance, to like remember to also protect yourself,
Sure.
but like remember essentially it's Allah's
I
will.
mean, for me personally, it's like, okay, don't overshare. That's it,
Yeah.
right? So if I go on a hike or something, I'll take like a lot of pictures. I don't share any of them.
Yeah, it's just for you.
Right, it's just for me. It's just for me, or like very close friends or very close family. Even some of the pictures are amazing though. But like what I mean, it's like, okay, you know what? Like why? Like why put it out there? Like why am I sharing? What is my intention? Like I think a lot of personal engagement is important too, because sometimes it's like, okay, I don't want to share this because I don't want to start feeling something about myself. Right, that's one aspect of it too. There's like a tizkiyah aspect to it. The other aspect is like, okay, yeah, I don't want to overshare. Right, I'm like, who am I trying to prove? Like, what am I trying to prove? Who am I trying to show? Type of thing. I think that plays a role. And then I think the smallest role is, I might get hasad. Right, that should be like, it should be like last on the list. Yes?
I'd like to circle back to Harut and Marut.
Sure.
Are they the ones who left scribes about magic that the Jewish people in the time of
Sulaiman, yeah.
Yes, and they think they are buried under the Masjid
Yeah.
al-Aqsa right now?
So I don't know if it's a relation to that. What I do know is that they came to teach, and there are some people who learned it with ill intent. There's no doubt about that. These people learned it with ill intent. I believe also, how many of you guys like know about like genie in a bottle and you got to rub the lamp and stuff like that? I believe a lot of that originated from that time. That what would happen is that in order for me to practice magic or to do something on someone, I would actually employ a what? A jinn, right? And what would I do to capture the jinn? I would put it in a bottle. Allahu Akbar. Well, yeah. Like for real, like they would actually capture these jinn, and one of the things was like this was something that was unique to Sulaiman alayhi salam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave him control over everything. He gave him control over wind, He gave him control over animals, and He gave him control over the jinn. So is it possible that, okay, there are certain jinn that were used, like, I mean, like if you're rolling and you have like these big bottles that you're keeping with you, and it's like, okay, hey, we need this jinn to go take care of this and to go do that. But like I said, wallahu alam, it's very possible that there is a connection there. And for us, it's like it's very fantastical, right? And like in an entertainment aspect. But I believe that there is an element of truth to that. In that, you engage with the jinn and you ask the jinn to do stuff for you, employ the jinn on your behalf. And Allah knows best.
They exist, or they assume it, they exist.
So from what I know, is that the reason that they want Aqsa destroyed is because they want to rebuild the Temple of Solomon.
That is one reason.
Yeah.
But they also believe the magic that Prophet Solomon
Yeah.
varied.
Mhm.
in
Oh, he buried the scrolls and things like that. That had all of the magic on them. Yeah, that's also very possible. Like the Kabbalah is very much practiced in Jewish circles, and it is their form of magic. And this stuff is really weird. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before. It's like it's really weird, and it's like very satanic, and it's just like, yo, what is going on here? Allah protect us. It gets. Don't spend too much time on it, but it gets like very dark, and it's like a rabbit hole. Like you can just like keep going and digging.
Didn't Donna convert into Kabbalah?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. She has a lot of problems. I think Kabbalah is just one of them. But some of the Mufassirin, what they did with the issue of Harut and Marut is like they showed people the signs of what to look for in order to protect themselves from that magic. Like, okay, hey, listen, if you see this, like this is how you take care of it, this is how you burn it, this is how, you should put it in water, you should do this, you should do that. So Allahu Alam, I believe that is what they taught them. And then what happened is the people who observed this, they kind of reverse engineered the magic, right? So they would see the end product and they would kind of reverse engineer it so that they would be able to practice that magic.
Would we also call the Sumerian who melted the
Samedi?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Sumerian. Would he be
A magician?
magician?
Allahu Alam, I don't know. I mean, it's... You have a lot of dark actors throughout history. You guys know, like Rasputin, he was one. Yeah, he was one. Who was the guy during the Bolshevik Revolution? I forgot his name. But he used to have orgies and do all this black magic and stuff. And he was like a really short, ugly guy. I forgot his name.
That's Rasputin.
Yeah, it was Rasputin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Rasputin with a long-
Yeah, you have a lot. You have a lot of dark actors in history who kind of have these very satanic, Kabbalic type traditions, and I think it's one of the reasons you really even have secret societies. So what is the purpose of a secret society? The purpose of a secret society is like they make you do something so abhorrent, right? They make you do something so evil, because later on they can use it as blackmail against you, right? That's the whole purpose of the secret society. This is why there's pedophilia is practiced. This is why homosexuality is practiced. This is why bestiality. This is why they do all those things in those circles, because it's like, okay, if I know a very dark secret about you, you'll always be in my control, right? That's what it is. And may Allah protect us. I'm sorry? Yeah, I can do. It's like, okay, and what are you getting in return? You're getting power. You're getting status. You're getting wealth, right? So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's amazing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually frames people selling themselves, right? And selling their religion, selling their deen. Do you see it in real time? May Allah protect us and our children.
And a lot of them, they don't realize until after the fact.
Well, I mean, if you're...
They done sold myself to I done sold myself to the devil.
I mean, if you're a grown man and you got baby oil on you, man, I think you know what you're doing. Free Diddy. So the last figure I want to talk about and mention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَوَجَدُوا عَبْدًا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا آتَيْنَاهُ رَحْمَةً مِنْ عِنْدِنَا وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِنْ لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا. And they found one of our servants to whom we had given mercy from us and had taught him from us a certain knowledge. And this person is known to us as Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam. I know I had alluded to this previously, but what I'd like you guys to do is actually go to Surah Al-Kahf. All right, go to Surah Al-Kahf. And it's really interesting, the narrative from the beginning to the end of the story. Because in the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He talks about Musa alayhi salam, and he's traveling with who? With his servant, right?
He's a prophet too.
So Dhunnun, there's khilaf, if he's a prophet or not. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and they, so Allah uses the dual form, right? So in Arabic, you have singular and you have dual when you talk about two people, and you have plural, right? So you have three forms. In English, we only have singular and plural. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this dual form in the entire conversation. It's like, okay, well, they stopped here, and then they went here, and then قَدْ نَسِيتُ, I forgot about مَا أَنْسَانِي إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانَ أَنْ أَذْكُرَ, right? So he goes back, and you have this dual form throughout. And then they meet Khidr alayhi salam. And what's interesting is that after they meet him, right, they go on the boat and like, he kills this kid and then he puts the wall back up. Allah continues with the dual form. Why?
It continues.
So it's still the dual form throughout. Like from the time that Musa alayhi salam heads out with his servant
Right.
until the end of the story, where he says, okay, now
We depart.
Because he's not
we
a
depart.
person.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe he's
Khidr
not
is an
human.
angel, so they stayed as a dual too.
Where did is the servant for like in the story? I can't remember if the servant is in the story the whole time.
So over here in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he doesn't say, he says abdun min ibadina. He says one of our servants.
Maybe it's not a person.
It doesn't, like, a servant doesn't have to be a person.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm just throwing it out there.
I know they do.
He-
Even
yeah.
I thought Musa left his servant.
So that's one possibility.
He got into
100%, right? That's definitely a possibility that, okay, no, he left his servant and then he traveled with him. Another possibility is like, okay, well, if he's traveling with the servant, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue and maintain the dual form? And if you actually think about the story, it's like, they're on a small boat. It's not, clearly it wasn't like, this luxury liner that they were on. Like, wouldn't they notice somebody like kind of drilling a hole? And a kid being killed. Like, is that not odd? Like, nobody's raising the alarms and they have no problem when they go to the next town? Nobody's like, hey, aren't you the guy that killed that kid? Like, but for us, we experience and we hear and we see people passing away and dying all the time. And the angel of death, he takes their souls. We don't ask any questions. We're not like, oh, he killed, like the angel of death killed this person, right? So I'm saying, all right, well, if we assume that he is an angel, and if we assume that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking in the dual form because he's not treating Khidr alayhi salam as a physical being that's with them, to me, the story makes a lot more sense. And is it possible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Khidr alayhi salam something that he didn't teach Musa alayhi salam as an angel? Yeah, 100%. Why not? Do certain angels have access to certain knowledge that individuals and certain prophets don't have access to? That's normal.
That's normal.
I don't know. I'm just, this is my personal hot take. Yeah.
But I'm thinking of like, I guess the lesson for Musa was that like, don't be arrogant because it's like, he was like saying, who's the smartest person?
Yeah. Who's the most knowledgeable? Yeah.
If he is an angel, doesn't that I don't know how to describe it, but it's like
Sure.
lessons the lesson. Does that
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sense?
Sure, it's definitely possible. But what if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had assigned Khidr to the earth to do whatever it is that he was doing?
I don't know.
Right?
This made me think a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, are you the most knowledgeable? It's like, oh, actually, no. I have another servant that is more knowledgeable. Yes.
I listened also to Dr. Shadi Masri from
Yeah.
the Institute,
Yeah.
who said that he's not an angel, Khidr, but rather another
Being. Yeah.
that is neither human
Mhm.
nor angel. So he still continues, he thinks, or his interpretation of it
Yeah.
is that Khidr is still alive somewhere, but we don't have,
Sure.
the possibility to see him. So
Sure.
yeah.
Right. I mean,
After all, isn't the Samiri who took, the from the hoofs of the horse
mhm.
of the angel, of Khidr, I think, the magic that allowed him to make the noise into the.
Wallahu alam. That I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
In Surah Al-Baqarah, it
Yeah.
says, I took some of the soil of the hoof of the horse. When he said, "What did you do, Samiri?"
Yeah.
And he said, "I saw things that they have not seen."
Mhm.
And then I took the soil and I tossed it because it was like blessed.
Okay. I'll go back. I'll check,
Yes.
inshallah.
Yes.
So that's fine. But like I said, I will ask him. It's like, okay, well, is he another type of being? It's possible, right? Like all of these things. But for me, I would say in terms of consistency, being an angel is not far-fetched.
Yeah.
And like, How long do angels live? Right? So, I don't think any of these things are far-fetched. Wallahu alam. But I think that was it from the contentious ones that I could think of. So we went through why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created angels. We went through a list of the different angels that we have mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah. And now you guys got a little insight of potential angels that there is. Inshallah, next time, we're going to be taking a break next week. And then when we come back, we're going to continue with the books. Inshallah, wa kutubihi, bidna ta'ala. Any questions before we end? No. طيب جزاكم الله خير سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك واشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك